In the last episode, we talked about how the Fitzgerald dynasty ended up ruling Ireland, but will that continue? The Fitzgerald dynasty had become an unreliable ally of the Tudor dynasty of England, promoting rebellions and even inviting Burgundian troops to Dublin in order to crown Lambert Simnel, a Yorkist pretender, as King of England in 1487 during the War of the Roses. On top of that, in 1536, Silken Thomas Fitzgerald went into open rebellion against the English crown. The English King Henry VIII, splitter of churches and ladies, ended up growing sick of this, and from that point on made up his mind and decided to conquer Ireland in order to avoid any future rebellions. He started by upgrading Ireland from a lordship to a kingdom with himself as king, which the local parliament obviously supported, and as a result, he began the process of reconquering the whole island. The reconquest was finally completed during the reigns of Elizabeth I and James I, after brutal conflicts such as the Desmond Rebellions and the 9 Years' War, where the Irish fought relentlessly to prevent total British domination, while suffering from a huge famine. At this point, the English authorities had already successfully established a centralized government over the whole island and disarmed the native lords, but there was an area where the British failed, as they were incapable of converting the Irish Catholics to Anglicanism, even as brutal methods were being used. From mid-16th to the early 17th century, the government tried to colonize the island with British Protestants in order to replace the native Irish population. This resulted in huge amounts of land being confiscated from the Irish, and again the English tried to force the locals to convert to Anglicanism by establishing numerous penal laws. As a result, the Irish rebelled in 1641, and the next year a Confederate Ireland was formed. The Catholics ruled it until 1649, when Oliver Cromwell, the British Lord Protector, reconquered it, and, as a punishment for the rebellion, he once more confiscated the remaining lands owned by the Catholic Irish and gave them to the British settlers. Cromwell also deported numerous Irish Catholics to the British colonies in the Caribbean, especially the island of Barbados, where around 1655, 12,000 political prisoners had been forcibly shipped. As if things weren't bad enough, in the 1688 Glorious Revolution, as the Irish supported the then Catholic King James II, while England supported William of Orange, the island saw more destructions since it was the main battleground of this revolution war between kings and led to the victory of William. Thanks for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like button and then subscribe to know what happened next. See you next time!